Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the marked room inside of 3-story dorms on Customs. This room on Customs requires the marked key, which can be found in jackets or on the bodies of scavs throughout Tarkov. Otherwise, it can be purchased on the flea market for around 400,000 rubles at the time of this recording. This key is a 25-use key, and we're going to be opening the room 50 times to see what kind of loot can spawn inside of the room, as well as how profitable this key can actually be. That being said, let's get into the runs.
You are fucked! You got some kind of fucking problem? You got some kind of fucking problem?
And there we go, 50 marked room runs. Full disclosure, the guy with the SVD that was hiding in the stall scared me so bad I spilled water all over my lap. But now that we have the runs out of the way, we can see just how much money we made during those raids. So here's all the data that we got out of the 50 raids. I'm just trying to get through this as quick as I can. In column B is all of the items that we got out of the 50 raids. In column C, it shows which raid we got those items out of. In column D, it gives the price of the item on the flea market. This is just an average. I try not to go too high or too low. In column E, this is the max value from selling to a trader for said items. In column G is the item count. For example, in raid 1, we got 2 items, so it's 2. In raid 2, we got 2 items, 2. Raid 3, 1 item. There we go. I is just a sum of the raids and the items in those raids. For example, we can look in column D, 385,000 plus 12,962, and we get 397,962. And that's just from the flea. In column J, we actually have the trader values, and in column K is the difference. So this just goes to show, check to see its value on the flea market before you just sell it to a trader. there's almost always a difference. The only instance that there's not is the 1 PM that I sold. So if we go down to the bottom, these are the big values that probably everyone wants to see. So we'll go over those first. 20,048,737 rubles is the max amount that you can get from these 50 raids. This does not include any like non-found in raid items, shoving something into your gamma and then dying. This is the best case scenario. You get everything out with the found in raid status and you sell it on the flea market. This is your profit margin. This is the profit if you get everything out of raid, but you do not sell it on the flea market. You just sell it to the trader at its highest value. And in the K column, the difference column, we can see that this number is 13,746,278. Always check the flea market. You'll make so much more money by selling on the flea market. But let's just go and look at these bottom numbers. I went ahead and put the minimum value, the maximum value, as well as the median and average for all of the columns. You can see in column D, the minimum value is 44. It's the same for the trader value. That's just because there's some SP ammo, SP12 I think that I just sold. You know, I didn't figure it'd be worth to put on the market. Its maximum value is 2,970,000 rubles. This is from money cases. I think we got 2 during our raids. And our average at 117,244 rubles. This is per item, not per raid. So by opening the marked room with this data from these 50 raids, if there's one item in there, it has an average value of 117,244 rubles. If you don't like extremes, like if you don't like the outliers such as money cases, holodilnic bags, key tools, documents cases, your best bet is to look at the median value at 25,000. If you look by the trader column, the minimum is 44, same one. The maximum is 471,525 for an item. I believe that's a key tool. So, you know, that's going to be your maximum item if you just plan on selling to traders, which is not a good idea. But you can see the big difference between the average and median. Whatever value that you decide to use, it's significantly more profitable to sell off the flea market. In column G, this is the item count, if you remember. In total, we found 171 items throughout those raids, with the minimum being 1 item found. I never had a marked room where there was nothing in there, and our maximum value of 9. Keep in mind, in one of the raids, I found 2 med cases, and each of the med cases had 3 items in those. I counted those as items in the marked room, as they technically are found in the marked room, and I sold them for profit. With an average of 3.42 items per raid. This meaning if you open it, you're going to get between 3 and 4 items on average. Our I column is going to be raid numbers, so not individual items like column D and E, but I and J are going to be the same for entire raids. The least profitable raid was the PM pistol at 2854, and that is for both the trader and the flea market. The maximum value that we got out of any one raid was 3,108,928 rubles. I believe that's just one of the money case runs that had like an MP7 or else in there. And the average was 400,975 rubles per raid. Like I said, if you do not like average values, if you have ran customs 50 times, marked room 50 times, and you have never found any mag cases, documents cases, key tools, anything like that, and you want all of those sifted out of the data, look at the median value. It's still at 175,815, an amazing value for the marked key that I valued it at 400,000 rubles. Give or take, that gives it 16,000 rubles to open for a 25 use key. For me, I always had 7,000 in my container, in my Kappa container, so I could take the Dorms extract if it was available. So 23,000 rubles for an average of 400,975 rubles to get out of the marked room with if you sell on the flea market. insanely profitable. Even if you use the median value at 175,000, still insanely profitable. But once again, just to go over the big numbers, if you make it out of raid with every single item, 20,048,737. Huge value. So if you're questioning whether or not having the marked key is worth it, 100%, without a doubt, it's definitely worth it. If you're going customs, you should have a marked key. If you spawn at like the river nearby or up the hill from the 3-story dorms, you should immediately rush marked room every single time. You have the best chance of getting there first, so having to spend 23,000 rubles potentially for an average of 400,975 rubles is a no-brainer. You should definitely do it. Two considerations, though, that I would say you need to take whenever you're running customs for the marked room is that you're going to run into two kinds of people running or in the 3-story dorms. That is people who are also trying to run marked room to get the loot, as well as the people who are hoping to find Reshala spawn in the 3-story dorms. These people are definitely going to make your day rough. They're going to complicate things. It's going to be pretty aggravating, but that's just something with running customs and going to marked room. It is a high contentious zone. You're going to run into people. I found that if I got there first and Reshala was there, my survivability rating plummeted. Not even because of Reshala. I don't think I died a single time to Reshala or any of his followers. I died because I would kill Reshala, and then all of the squads in the customs map would hear the fighting, immediately know Reshala was there, and rush me, and then I'd have to try to survive wave after wave of PMC. That being said, the potential to get out with Reshala's loot, if he does spawn there, and the potential to find high-end items in marked room, 100% worth it. Definitely a no-brainer. A couple considerations that I do want to make clear. If you were paying attention to the video, you probably will notice that some of these items are in red. That signifies that these items were not actually found by me in the marked room, but I killed someone who had opened marked room, and those were either still on the floor or on their body. I counted these as a marked room visit, even though I didn't technically open the door, because even though they do have the potential of having someone run in there and grab something and shove it in their gamma, you can pretty much guarantee that either 100% or at least 90% of the items that were on their body or on the floor were spawned in marked room. So I did count those because those are, that's loot that I found, and I didn't have to pay for the, marked use key, but I still got those out of raid. In addition to those considerations, I also do want to mention the fact that I did not include a flea market fee. I did that on purpose because we all have different flea market fees based upon our hideout level as well as our intelligence center level. And since mine is maxed out, mine's going to be considerably less than people's who do not have those upgrades to their hideout. And on top of that, I also did not include any of the profits from item parts or weapon parts off of weapons that I sold. For example, the 7.62 MDR has the magazines that are worth 30-40k with M61 in them. Since those are variable, I didn't feel the need to include those, and those should offset with the flea market fee to a certain degree. So those costs aren't included in my profit margins. However, those still are present. But that just about sums up the marked room. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer them to the best of my ability. If you have any questions about Tarkov or marked room or anything else, be sure to leave it down below and I will get to them as soon as I can.